So, my first question would be, why is it so easy for parents to be judged in a situation such as a child presenting with mental illness? Because I've personally experienced even a provider being judgmental towards me or my child, and I just wonder about that.
I think, and unfortunately, that's not uncommon. Both in physicians, in therapists, in students, in nursing. And because I work in so many different settings, I work in an outpatient setting, I work in an inpatient setting, and the ER setting. And one thing that I think a couple of months ago happened that just stood in my brain was I was teaching this medical student and the resident who have been sharing this case that they recently saw. So this child came overnight to the hospital, actually a teenager, I think in early 20s, I believe. So came with this running away from home, not listening. So parents didn't, parents put a missing person report and the police found, and then they brought her because she was using some drugs and, she was running away with a boyfriend. So anyhow, so that was the presentation. And so I came in the morning, and the medical student and the resident, they were sharing this case with me. And then I asked them, okay, what is the plan? What are we going to do? And they were saying, the overnight staff who interviewed the parents, they thought the parents are too strict. They are too strict disciplinary. They don't know how to talk to their child. And, they are just trying to get this teenager admitted to the hospital so that they can punish her, so that she does not have to do this misbehavior or running away again. And I can see, the frustration and anger in the student and the trainee, because that, they were also kind of judging parents for not doing their job and don't know how to talk to a teenager, and, why, you are not setting limits, and why, you have to do something that the teenager have to run away. So I have seen a lot of that judgment in their conversation. So so I asked the students, did you talk to the teenager? They said, yeah, we briefly touched base. She was doing perfectly fine. She wanted to go home. And she acknowledged that she made a mistake. They don't think she was struggling with any mental illness, depression, anxiety, ADHD. And I asked, did you talk to the parents? They said no, who did not talk. But I think the overnight staff, they already spoke with the parent. What is the point of talking to them again? Parents make it pretty clear that they want their child, teenager, to get admitted because, she has been struggling with so much mental illness. But they were believing that's not true, because she's fine. It's just a behavioral issues. Parents need to do some more coaching. They cannot do this to their child to get them admitted. And because I have seen so many times, and I always teach doctors and colleagues that, whatever we see is just the tip of the iceberg. And unfortunately, I have seen people are putting those labels, those diagnoses, or no diagnosis based on just seeing the tip and not understanding how much it's underneath the surface. And because, it's hard to get the underneath from a teenager who just want to go home, and everything is fine. So I asked them, why not? Okay, the overnight staff have done their work. They put their recommendation. Why not you call your parents and ask them what brought, and also get the story about early childhood, about the whole, the underneath the surface. And let's reconnect maybe in a couple of hours. So they reach out to parent, and then they call me. And first, I can see with their tone that something has changed. And they were telling, so they spoke to the parent. Both parents have been telling that how this teenager have been having difficulty in school, even from the middle school, significant bullying, and she was diagnosed with ADHD but untreated. Someone thought she may need medication, but the teenager are just teenagers, and definitely she was having difficulty. She was doing okay academically, but then gradually in high school her grades start going down. got into drugs. She has been brought to an emergency department before. So teenagers said no, never been brought for any, but the parents said yes, she was scheduled to see a counselor, but she has not been going to school regularly, and they were worried about the safety. Yes, out of anger in the middle of the night, they have said so many things, and they may also have said, yeah, they want to punish her out of anger, but they have shared all that story, I'm pretty sure. But because there is so much judgment, so the person who is doing the history at night, in her head, it got stuck. It's for punishment and everything, because this is just our own counter transference as a clinician, that we learned, not to let that happen. But now the student was sharing, that how much they are appreciative to see, that I encourage them to stay open with the parent. Don't judge, just listen, be more curious, be more understanding, get more information, and then see, is it what we were thinking, or there was so much going on. So they were, understood, both parents were working, have long hours, they were trying their best, they have other kids at home, but definitely this kid has been having difficulty, and they tried their best. They did not want to bring their child to the emergency. They have been trying to handle her own, but now she has been missing for 2 days, and they have no clue, and she has not been going to the appointment. She has been missing school. So the last resort, because the last time they brought her to the ER, she got scared and she started going back to the counseling. So, it was a really good moment for all of us, to see that, don't please, the lot of times, especially our minorities, and they struggle the most when both parents are working, sometimes single parent, the parents are working multiple job, multiple shifts, because I work with so many minorities, a mother is a driver, a mother is, the subway driver. She has, overnight duties, and then, so when you understand the story, you realize, you cannot just ask mom, oh, you have to spend more time, you have to listen, when she have to put all those hours to make sure that he or they have enough money to feed their child. So I think as the bottom line message is, we really need to catch ourselves. No matter how on the surface it look, the horrible job the parents are doing, who still have to stay open, who still have to stay curious, you still have to find some empathy, you still have to understand not what is wrong with the parents or what is wrong with the child, what happened to the parent, what happened to the child in their whole life story that may have made them bring to the emergency department for these behavioral issues.
Thank you for sharing that. I think it's really valuable and important for not only parents to know that there are providers like you, but also for the providers, to the clinicians, to hear this coming from a different perspective. So thank you for sharing that.
No, thank you for asking that question.